Happening now, when you think about the faces of PTSD, usually our brave men in uniform come to mind, but there's another military group that we can often forget, and that's women.
Yeah, the United States Department of Veterans Affairs says the suicide rate among women veterans is double that of women who don't serve.
Yeah, our Renee Skinner spoke to a veteran and a professor at CSU Pueblo to find out what's contributing to this startling reality, Renee.
That's right, guys. You can ask any veteran, men and women alike. Serving their nation is one of the proudest moments you can experience. But once their service is over, reality at home begins to sink in. Often these men and women are faced with the same thing, very little resources and information on how to transition back into civilian life. Now, I spoke to a woman veteran and a financial coordinator at the VA Resource Center at CSU Pueblo. She says as a woman in the military, chances are you're surrounded by men, so there's added pressure to be strong and tough. Christine Guthmiller also talked about what it was like when she experienced PTSD. In a very personal interview, she said it was very isolating. You feel alone. It's nerve-wracking, and little things would make her feel overwhelmed and anxious, especially after coming home from deployment. I also spoke to a combat veteran and a professor at CSU Pueblo, David McFadden. He says it's twice as hard for women in the military and other branches because they're trying to disprove a stereotype that women are weaker than their male counterparts, especially on the front lines.
I feel like we have to be tougher and we have to hide it, so therefore we don't speak about it and we hold it on to us, and sometimes we just can't handle it.
For them, it's twice as hard. They have to overcome stereotypes. For them to receive services proves that stereotype.
Now, the good news is there are resources out there to help people, both men and women, who feel hopeless. According to the VA's website, every VA medical center has a trained suicide prevention coordinator. It's also important to identify what mental health programs are effective. Now, while doing research on this story, I want to mention that women veterans also share some of the same stressors as male veterans, such as financial hardship, loneliness, relationship challenges, and depression. The VA found that the suicide rate is higher among women who report military sexual trauma, and that includes sexual assault, discrimination, and sexual harassment during military service. Always watching out for you, Renee Skinner, News 5.